Hello, my name's Dave Van Auker, MACP, CCA, that's Board Certified Prosthetist and Anaplastologist, and also Master of Arts, so I'm actually an artist as well to bring to the mix on this. Today we're going to be talking just briefly about partial hands and some upper extremities. More detail and information is available on my website, but this just kind of give you a real quick overview on some of the things that we do here. So we've got examples of partial hands, fingers, we've got a below elbow prosthesis, and we've also got just a kind of a partial hand experiment that I did to show you just for some ideas on some of the things that we try and do here to give you a better product and give you better service on what we're trying to achieve in terms of realism, because there's all kinds of levels of realism that you can achieve. There's always another level. So that we are trying to keep, peeling away the layers and creating a better and better realism to give you a more and more successful and convincing prosthesis. We've got a below elbow prosthesis here. This is actually a passive arm. I'm not talking about electronics at the moment or powered prosthetics. We do have information on that as well. This is designed purely for aesthetics. It has wires in the fingers to be positioned, but it's really not intended to be used for more than just for appearance. One of the things about this, though, why I've got this hand here, if we can get a close-up, what I can show you is that this one is a hand-sculpted prosthesis, which in some cases is the best way to go, depending on what you're trying to achieve, because I've actually got hand sculpted and what I call life casts. People think life casts are cheating, but really they're not necessarily cheating. It's just another solution to a problem. Again, the hand sculpting is going to give you a certain level of realism, but it gives you a lot more power and control over the shape and the design. And there's sometimes where the shape and the design is really important, and you don't want to sacrifice the function, or you want to have something that can accommodate an unusual shape, and you can't always achieve that with a life cast. This is a life cast here, which is nice because then it creates a more realistic surface texture and details. It even has fingerprints. All of these have custom nails to match a patient so that we can put in an extraordinary amount of detail in it. This is actually an older demo too, so that this is all externally painted. And where this is nice is that this is in early days, and we do a lot more of it now, and I'll talk more about it, is internally colored, so that every detail on this actually is how the part came out of the mold. I've done no painting and no surface coloring whatsoever to this yet. So it shows you just how much detail you can create in your piece, and we're always pushing that technology farther and farther to create higher and higher levels of realism. In this partial hand here, this is one as it came out of the mold. I haven't done any final painting on it. Actually, this one was a discard because we had some things we weren't happy with. But with this ethnic patient, all these variations that you see here, all of those things, this is how it came out of the mold. This is a hand-carved piece because he had an unusual shape, so it worked better to try and do this by hand to get a desired result. Because color is really, at the end of the day, the most important thing, and that's why we push things like internal coloration and getting a good match, because it's kind of like camouflage. You take a tank and it sits in the middle of the woods, it's an odd shape, but if it's camouflage, it helps you to hide it. You take a tree that's a natural shape, you paint it fluorescent pink, it stands out, and it doesn't look like it belongs there at all. It's the correct shape, wrong color. So hopefully that illustrates the importance of color and why we emphasize color the way we do. Now this is another unusual shape for a partial hand, so that what you see for fingers is what was missing, so we recreate this. Now in this case, we were able to use a life cast successfully to create a higher degree of realism. With a finger prosthesis or digital prosthesis, that's our fancy word for fingers in the medical realm. There's an example of a thumb prosthesis. Now the thumb itself is either one of the more successful or least successful of hand restorations. When you've got length like this, you can usually create a reasonably functional prosthesis. When you've got no length, then that's just the opposite, and it's about as frustrating and dissatisfying of a restoration as we probably can create. I got this one here. I know it's another thumb, but again, this is internal coloration, so that what it's to show you is that this is the color as it comes out of the mold, and then we just, hopefully with a little luck, we're just kind of blending a few imperfections and calling it done. That by not having to paint on the prosthesis, you maintain a better surface texture. You know, 'cause when you use a life cast, it has all these nice human textures. And what we're trying to do then is to recreate those textures as accurately as possible and not fill them in with all kinds of paint. And then here's a separate nail that we fabricated that we would end up gluing in place so that you can see that it's a separate piece. It's actually a physical separate piece that we create that's designed to match the patient in every detail. And even for like the ladies, you know, sometimes they'll do French nails or whatever like that they require. But that's a summary of partial hands and upper extremities. We work with a variety of things here. We occasionally get requests for doing sports prosthetics. You know, I've done devices for playing baseball, holding you know, helping you to use your ball glove and play ball. I've done a couple of different golf prosthetics. I did one for hockey, archery prosthetic for somebody that wanted to shoot archery. He was missing just his thumb, but he wasn't able to get good counterforce to control the bow. So we created a way that he could hold his bow successfully and not have it pop loose and hit him in the head when he's trying to shoot his bow. So we got him back out and hunting again. So partial hands covers a wide variety of subjects. These are more cosmetic examples, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what we can do. If you have more questions, please call me at 517-540-6190, or you can go to our website, premiumprosthetics.com.